I'm Courtney Ingham, and I am a Western tropical astrologer. I offer weekly astrology reports every Monday featuring the planetary and lunar energies for the week ahead. All times mentioned are in Eastern Standard Time. Becoming a subscriber is free, and all subscribers get additional free content. Becoming a paid subscriber is only $5 a month and helps to support this podcast. Paid subscribers receive discounts off of my readings and other offerings. Enjoy the show. Hello, Astro friends. Courtney here. I'll be covering the weekly overview of the Astro energies, and that includes the lunar energies this week that you can work with, as well as the planetary aspects happening from June 10th through June the 16th. And there are some pretty exciting things happening this week as we have Mars moving into the sign of Virgo, and we have Mercury moving into the sign of Leo. So I'm excited to share with you what that can bring for us as these planets take on this whole new energy of these signs. First, I did want to mention that because next week on Monday, we have a shift in the lunar nodes, and that is very significant because that will be in effect for the next 18 months. And the current north node for the next week anyway in Taurus is going to shift to Aries. And the south node in Scorpio is going to be shifting to Libra. And if you did not listen to my special podcast that I did last week covering this, I will link it below. Definitely make sure you check that out because the nodal energy is significant. Everybody has a north and south node in their charts. It would be helpful for you to print a chart for yourself and to reflect upon not only where your own north and south nodes are, but where you have the Aries and Libra axis in your own chart, because for the next 18 months, this is an area that will be activated by this shift, and you will want to see if you have any significant points, if you have any planets that are in these areas. And I was just talking to my husband over the weekend about this nodal energy and his own north and south nodes, which, by the way, his north node is in Leo, meaning his south node is in Aquarius. And what house they're in, we sort of discussed the integration of this energy into the houses that he is working with and what this means. And actually came up with a really great plan for how he can be working with his North Node energy in regards to his career, in regards to his business, which that North Node in Leo is one that really requires being in the spotlight, and understanding these energies can be really helpful when you are very much aware of the axis, meaning the opposite polarity of that sign, which is Aquarius, and that Aquarius energy is much more about groups. And so in a past life, Mark had more of this Aquarius vibe where he was very focused on helping others, humanitarian efforts, working with groups, and it's a lot of dissolving the personal ego. And in this lifetime in Leo, he needs to do more self-actualizing, which is expressed even more so with his sun in the sign of Aries. So we spoke a lot about this together, and it was really neat. And I just wanted to share that with you because for a very limited time, I'm going to offer nodal readings for $40 if you want to get an idea of what your north and south nodes are saying about you. I'd be happy to look at your energies and do a reading for you. Please do email me at CourtneyBuk@gmail.com, and definitely check out the podcast I did last week. Now let's go ahead and move into the lunar energies for this week. So with the lunar energy this week, we are starting Monday with our moon in Aries. However, it will be moving to Taurus later in the day, and we are still in a waning crescent moon phase as the moon is receding into a new moon phase, which we are about a week away from at this point. And a lot of people have asked, you give these lunar reports, but how do you work with the moon phases? And I can share a little bit about what I do. I have a personal calendar, and after I look at these energies and share them with you, I'm also recording some of the highlights on my calendar as I reflect on what's going on for my week, what goals I have, or just, what things I'll be doing. And I try to integrate the energy. So for instance, one thing that I'm doing is I have to be doing something for my business this week. And I'm going to focus on doing that later this week, probably Thursday and Friday, as that will be more of a mentally stimulating day because the moon will be moving into Gemini, and I'll have to be doing things that require my brain to work well. So I'm going to aim to schedule that for Thursday and Friday of this week. Other ways that you can learn to work and integrate the lunar energies is to simply understand the phases that we are in. So for instance, right now we're in a waning crescent phase. The full moon is shrinking, it's getting smaller. And for ages, there has been almanacs and different planners that have helped us to work when the moon is either getting bigger, moving towards a full moon, or moving towards a new moon. And you can optimize the support that we get from the moon in these phases by doing things and scheduling them during certain phases. So for instance, you've probably heard about haircuts and when it's best to get your hair cut or not get your hair cut. And it really depends on your goal. So if you have shorter hair and you want to keep it short, the best time to get a haircut is now. It's during a waning crescent moon phase as the moon is getting smaller because it inhibits hair growth. Isn't that interesting? I think hairstylists, salons could really work with these phases and encourage their customers to come back during certain times depending on their hair goals. But you can also think of it as, lawn care. And right now it's summer in the northern hemisphere. So we can plan to do lawn care, cut the lawn during the waning moon phases and therefore maybe not have to cut it as much. And that's the same idea with the haircut. It's also a great time to start a diet if you happen to want to lose weight. And we can also be working with the actual signs that the moon is in. If that's like a goal, like say your goal is to lose weight, you would want to start during a waning moon phase and starting in a sign like Aries or Leo, Virgo, Sagittarius, or Aquarius. So you would better plan your diet if you were in one of those phases, and then other things we can use the moon cycles for, which is like if we're starting a new project or even a new job. Taurus, Leo, and Aquarius are the fixed signs. So if it's something you really want to stick, which assumingly if you're starting a new job, you want that to stick, focusing on starting in one of those fixed signs is a great way to work with the lunar energies. I'm actually going to be doing a class for girls and women that is going to start in the fall or early winter, definitely after summer is over. It's going to be a version of the Girl Talk class that I've taught for many, many years, where we are going to focus on working with and integrating the lunar cycle. So that's going to be an added new feature to this class. If you are someone who might be interested in this and learning to work with the lunar energies, or perhaps if you have an adolescent daughter who really could benefit from Girl Talk, which is just a coming of age course that I really love doing. I happen to have a 12-year-old girl myself, and this is just, it's time. So definitely get in touch with me and let me know that you are interested. You can just email me, CourtneyBuk@gmail.com. Now let's get back to the lunar energies of this week that we will be working with. So again, on Monday, the moon will be moving into Taurus. It will be in the sign of Taurus until early Thursday morning. So in this energy of a Taurus moon, we can be more drawn to things that are stable and simple. It's a time to move slow. It's a time to be sensual. It's a real big food moon. We might be really interested in delighting our taste buds with some delicious food. It's such a great idea to go to the grocery store, and especially in the produce section, just let your eyes choose based on color or something that's inspiring, maybe even smell. You'd probably wander into the bakery section if that's the case. But anyway, that's fine. It's a great time to indulge those senses in that way, and just select something that's appealing based on your senses alone. Completely remove mental ideologies and indulge your Taurus senses. It's also a great time to be more lazy, and the keep it simple solution to these Taurus days are great. So the planetary energies that I talk about for Monday and Tuesday, I just want to give you a heads up. They very much can be supported by these lunar energies as well. So just keep that in mind, that Monday through Wednesday, especially, we are going to be in a very feminine, sensual, practical, and simple moon phase. So don't do anything or plan anything too mentally consuming for these days. On Thursday, we'll be moving into the moon in Gemini. This is when I plan to get some mental work done. And we will be in this moon through the afternoon of Saturday. So from Thursday early morning through Saturday just afternoon, we will be in the moon phase of Gemini. And this can be, we might overwhelm ourselves mentally in this energy. So that's what you want to be aware of, is not planning to do too much as a Gemini sun. The busy mind is a signature of the Gemini energy for sure. I sometimes just feel like I have a feast of information that I like to indulge in. There's almost like it's insatiable. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I have multiple books next to my bed. Not only because I like to read, but because I like to flit between different topics. It's something that I have a great aptitude to hold a lot of information in my head, and you can take advantage of this by planning your week, because we have Gemini moon coming this week. It's also a great time to be social. Gemini is very social. They like to talk. You can make calls. You can connect with friends. Great time to study, of course, too. And as I mentioned, tackle a mental challenge. Now on Saturday afternoon, the moon will move into very domestic and very nurturing Cancer. This is where we may feel like homebodies and want to do things around the house, nurture ourselves, nurture our loved ones, nurture our family. It's a very family-oriented energy. Cooking, cleaning the house might be good things to prioritize for this coming weekend. And we will have Mars in Virgo. So that very much could support taking action to organize and clean as well. Cancer energy can be very emotional. Be aware of that we might feel a little emotional. It can get overwhelming in the emotions in the Cancer energy. So definitely be aware of that, but also use it to get in touch with these deeper feelings that may need your attention at this time, and just check in with yourself emotionally. This is a great week with the moon moving from Gemini to Cancer to do a mental health check-in. Like how's it going on that level? Like that's super important to do. And the Gemini energy is, of course, going to make you be able to be really in touch with what's going on mentally and to process that. But then the Cancer energy is such a great contribution because emotionally we can check in even deeper and just say, and how is this really like landing? How do I feel about this? And now we'll go ahead and move into the planetary aspects for this week. Mars is going to be moving into the sign of Virgo early Monday morning. It stays there through the most part of August. It's going to be moving out on August 27th. Great opportunity for us to initiate new habits or routines, new schedules. This is kind of the time of the year where I imagine most homeschool parents are starting to think about the upcoming school year. At least I am. I actually woke up this morning and I'm like, got an idea for what I'm going to do with this one kid of mine. Definitely use this energy through August to take action to organize something that's needed to be organized. And also you could take this as a opportunity to support your health, to do something in support of, having more healthier habits, a diet, and or exercise routine. You could also plan to be more busy, more productive. Check out where Virgo falls, what house or houses in your chart, so that you can better integrate this energy. And we are later in the evening going to be having Mercury in Cancer oppose Pluto. So this happens later on Monday. And in this energy, it very much could be a frustration. And a frustration in regards to understanding or maybe not understanding how to get our needs met. So this is also very much an opportunity just to be aware of this, because there might not be a solution. It might just be coming up as like, I'm so frustrated about this. I don't know how to handle it. I don't know what to do. But hold tight, because as you'll see later in this week, we really have some supportive energy that might allow a breakthrough. This is also energy in which our inner worlds, Mercury, how we process things, personal planet in the sign of Cancer. It's very much, this level of emotions as well. So it's the inner and outer worlds, because we have Pluto in the sign of Capricorn, also retrograding, that are under review as far as like how things are balanced. Are we doing the self-care? Are we too much out there in the world trying to make things happen there? So just be aware of that. And again, the feeling that I get from this is, how's this all going to work? That might be like, I just can't figure this out. I don't know how this is all going to work. There's conflicts that may be first and foremost in your mind, and you may feel but it's important to remember that Taurus, we have a moon in Taurus, and that wants us to focus on what's simple and what we do know. So while you may feel this conflict going on in the beginning parts of this week, especially, just remember to keep it simple and do what's right in front of you. Like maybe it's like the very basics that you can cover in this energy, and that's absolutely fine. Again, we have Mars and Virgo. Great time to simplify and take action on what we can do. Now on Tuesday, we have Mercury in Leo now squaring the north and south nodes. This adds to some of the lack of clarity that we have with Mercury opposing Pluto. We may not feel very confident and not really know what's ahead. We might not have a good plan, might not feel like we have an understanding of what's going on. We may really desperately want some clarity. But again, let's focus in this energy on letting Mars and Virgo lead and doing what's right in front of us, and just see what comes out of that. What comes out of keeping the mind out of things and not spiraling out in this energy, but focusing on being very in the moment and getting the tasks at hand done for the time being until we have more information and until we do get that clarity that will come later this week, hopefully. It's also an energy where we can focus on following our instincts, okay? Rather than following the mind, following the instincts in this energy of, what makes sense to do, what feels good to do, because we also have Mars on the same day, Tuesday, trining the North Node. So while we might not understand or have clarity about our future or clarity about, what it is we're here to do, what our purpose is, we have an instinct that is represented by Mars that will really resonate if we allow that to lead. And on Wednesday, we have the Sun in Cancer squaring Chiron in Aries. And this is, to me, the ego being triggered around our perceived weaknesses or wound. Remember, the Chiron wound in Aries does not like to be vulnerable. However, the Sun is in very vulnerable, very feminine Cancer. And in this energy, we can let the feminine lead. We still have our moon in Taurus. Yeah, so this is an energy where we might not feel very capable. We might doubt our accomplishments. We might really have some low self-esteem coming up. However, let the feminine lead. See what can be released and allowed in this energy as we go for more of a feeling into it. See what comes up for you. Trust that. Now, the final big energy for this week happens on Friday, and that is when we have the Sun again in Cancer sextiling Uranus and Taurus. And this feels like really fun energy. This is very social energy that really works well with the Gemini moon that will be in on Friday. If you want to plan something social and fun, great opportunity to do for Friday. It's also an opportunity to express our eccentricities. We might want to do something a little bit different. Stepping outside of the box is a good idea. It might be a day to get away for the weekend because, of course, Uranus is going to spur our spontaneity. It's going to spur our, desires for freedom and getting away and doing something new, doing something fun and exciting. So those are the big energies this week, and I'd love, love, love to hear how this all lands for you. If you want to leave a comment sometime this week and let me know how you're working with these energies. And I will be back next week on Monday, as always, with the weekly overview. Take care. Thank you so much for joining me for this podcast. And If you have any comments you'd like to leave, I enjoy hearing from you and would love to communicate with you in the comments to hear how the energies are landing for you. And if you happen to have a friend who you think will enjoy this podcast, please do share it with them. I'm back every Monday with your weekly overview on my Substack account at courtneyingham.substack.com.